Well, guys, more red for the stock market as the 30-year treasury yield continues to go up. You guys can see now the S&P 500's down about 0.75%. The Qs are down over 1% as the Russell is leading the losses, down 1.6%. And the Dow's down, let's see, about 0.25%. Actually, not too bad for the Dow as it is about 11 a.m. on the East Coast. So we have to break down the charts, stocks I'm looking at, and we'll cover the 30-year right now, what's going on, and why that going up is important to watch and how it affects the overall market, right? As the 30-year clearly has been going up ever since the Iran conflict popped off. So we have a lot to cover, guys. Hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, join my Patreon for my portfolio updates, my private Discord, all that's linked down below, pinned in the comments, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And now, cheers, got my good old double espresso. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and let's get into it. So again, the sell-off is continuing as the 30-year has been spiking for a little bit now, and just, yesterday heading into today, it's really started to take off, and that's putting pressure on equities to the point now where the S&P 500, looking at SPY, is probably going to break through 730, which we covered before. That's actually a big support on the ETF. You guys can see 730 is a major support over the last couple of days, and we have a descending triangle clear as day on this hourly chart. So if I had to guess, it kind of looks like we want to take that out in the short term, and I think we could be making our way down towards the 180 moving average on this 4-hour chart, which, guys, that would be a healthy pullback. This is nothing worth freaking out over, panicking about. Even if we dropped another 15, 20 points on SPY, the bulls would still be in charge. We would still be maintaining an uptrend, and that's, I think, I don't want to say worst case scenario. I mean things could get worse. You never know. But on this drawdown, I don't really see it going much lower than 720, 715. That's just my opinion, right? And the Qs are doing the same thing. We have a clear descending triangle. I think we mentioned it in my video yesterday. Now it's starting to break through 700, which in the short term, yeah, that's not the best sign. That's a clear break of a multi-day support. But when in doubt, zoom out, guys, right? This is still, it's an uptrend. Bulls are still in charge. And even if we took out 690 and we started falling towards 675, 680, the bulls would still be in charge. We would still be above this 180 moving average. So yeah, a bit more red today, but honestly, it's a healthy pullback considering how much this market has gone up. Everybody knows that. The Qs here were up from 550 all the way to 720. That's a 30% move. And SPY went up, I think, 20% off the lows. So this is nothing too crazy. This is simply a pullback. And the catalyst, again, for the fifth time, is the 30-year treasury, which, let me pull this up right now. Bear with me, guys. And you'll see how it correlates with when the Iran conflict kind of started. You can see here, this is, I think, the 1-year chart. Yeah, on the 30-year treasury. So this was at about, let's see here, guys, 4.6% in the end of February, right before the Iran conflict popped off, right? That's roughly around that time period. And since then, it's been steadily going up for obvious reasons, right? Inflation pressures are through the roof. We're seeing that in the CPI data. You know what I mean? We're seeing, obviously, oil prices going up, and this is putting a huge, a massive, it's giving President Trump a huge decision to make, because if he continues on here in Iran for months on end, oil is going to continue to go up, inflation is going to continue to be a problem, and the Treasury 30-year is going to continue to creep up, or at least stay where it's at, which is not ideal. And Trump needs inflation to come down, obviously, for the midterms, for, the economy, everything, you know what I mean? And the 30-year treasury, guys, for those that don't know, acts as a benchmark for long-term loans, right? As it rises, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate climbs as well, often sitting uncomfortably above 6%. So that's been going up, making housing significantly less affordable for buyers. And clearly, it's been unaffordable for buyers. I guess prices, housing prices haven't been going up as much. They've kind of softened a bit, maybe even gone down in certain markets. But the fact that, the mortgage rates are super high, at least compared to where they have been the last decade, that's making these payments, man, these monthly payments, even if you have a 20-25% down payment, you're still paying a ton of money on interest, right? And this obviously puts pressure on the stock market. And the question is why? Well, because we have higher risk-free yields right now, and that makes bonds more attractive than stocks for some people. If you can get 5.2% on a 30-year, right, this causes capital to flow out of equities, particularly growth and tech stocks, which we're seeing a pullback in a lot of these tech stocks. It's a short-term pullback, but it is a pullback nonetheless, and that's going into potentially safer, places like the 30-year, other places to store money, and this depresses overall market valuations in the short term, and the more this continues to go up, again, the more pressure we're going to see. And this obviously spikes the 30-year when we see inflation and geopolitical tensions, which, like I've said, we're in a point now where that's where we're at with everything going on in Iran, with oil going up. You're seeing it in the CPI data, right? So spikes in long-term rates are often driven by persistent, sticky inflation and global supply shocks, and these factors indicate underlying economic distress rather than growth. So there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. And the fact that the 30-year is doing what it's doing is it's a little worrisome, man. And if this gets anywhere near 5.5, maybe higher than that, that would be insane. And let me actually pull up quickly here. I want to see. I forgot to look at the longer term chart. Where was this? Let's pull the 5-year up on the 30-year. I mean, this thing's been going up for years now. This 30-year, let's see, I think it saw a spike. When's the last time we saw a significant spike on the 30-year? It was back in October 2023. This got up to about 5%, then it cooled off. Then it spiked back towards 4.8, then it cooled off. But now it's really starting to make a breakout formation, guys. I know it's not a stock, but the 30-year looks like it wants to break out of this 5.2% mark. I hope it doesn't, but it might with everything going on. And this puts a major, it gives Trump a major decision here. It's forcing him to arguably end this Iran conflict sooner rather than later, which honestly I'm not opposed to. I would be kind of happy if the Iran conflict wrapped up because of all the inflation, for other obvious reasons as well. And look, that would cause the 30-year to drop, but are we there yet? Is Trump going to throw the towel in or come to a deal? Is Iran going to accept? Are they going to come to a solution? Who knows? It's anybody's best guess, and that's why we're seeing the 30-year continue to go up. Stocks are now selling off, but I'm buying the dip. I'm buying the dip, man. And 2 stocks I bought today. We might as well talk about that quickly before we wrap up this video. Cheers, by the way, guys. I appreciate all of you for tuning in, as always. And by the way, I think 50% of you watch the content, but you're not subscribing, and that's a problem. We're trying to get to 100,000 subs, and I need every single one of you guys to subscribe. And if you're watching on Facebook, I need you guys to hit that follow button. Cheers. I appreciate, again, all of you for tuning in. So I ended up nibbling a little bit more in or of Robinhood stock today. I bought some more shares at $75. So admittedly, yeah, I'm down on those shares that I bought. Now we're at 73.80, but I don't care, man. I think anything in the mid low 70s, high 60s even is a screaming buy on Robinhood, and my average cost is right around 72.50 now with these new shares I bought. And I'm cool with that. And again, if this thing gets down to the mid high 60s, I'm going to be pounding the buy button even more. And this is a longer term position for me, right, guys? Not a trade. I'm not selling this in a month. This is a longer term play now for me. Robinhood's genuinely one of those companies that I think is going to crush it with this new investor class that we're seeing, and kind of where we're headed. I think Robinhood's going to be a dominating factor in the financial markets. Dominating company, and their CEO, their whole management team is on it, guys. And I love a CEO like Vlad, who's public facing. He's doing all this content. He's always in the media, doing podcasts, answering questions. I love CEOs like that, and he's a great CEO. And I think this 50% drawdown is kind of overdone, right? Yeah, trading volumes are down, crypto here, there, whatever. I think it's short term. And once crypto, that's one of the catalysts here. Once Bitcoin really starts to break back over 85, 90, 95, Robinhood stock's going to be going nuts. So for me, anywhere again in this low mid 70s, I'm just going to keep chipping away at it. I'm going to keep buying more, and that's where I'm at with Robinhood. And when in doubt, zoom out, man. Look at the max chart. It looks great. I think Robinhood, there's a good chance in the back half of this year it goes towards 90, $100 a share, maybe higher. So I'm holding on tight, and I bought more shares today, and I'll continue adding more Robinhood. And I also added more Lamb Research, ticker LRCX. I bought some shares at $272 roughly. Now we're at $267, so I am down on those shares as well. But again, I don't care. This is not a super long position like Robinhood. I mean, it could be. It's a great company, but I'm looking at it more as a trade. The chart looks great. I mean, this is clearly a chart where you want to buy the dip into the weakness, right? And that's where we're at. So I'm adding more Lamb Research here. I think this will be a 325, 350 stock this year, fairly soon, quite frankly. Once we get a rebound in these AI names, I think LRCX gets there. I'm holding on tight, man. I'm holding on tight, and I'm looking to add more if it continues to slip here. So I like the way we're setting up on a lot of these stocks, and people that were begging for the pullback, we're waiting for the pullback, and a lot of these stocks, we're getting it. We're getting it. This is it. This is it. Take advantage. Micron's down to 680. If you were looking to buy the memory stocks, right? Now's not a bad pullback, in my opinion. DRAM's down, SanDisk's down. All these are down. So if you were interested when they were breaking out to all-time highs, you should be even more interested now, considering they've dropped, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Join the Patreon if you want to keep up with my actual portfolio updates. You guys get all my buys in real time, all my trades, investments, options moves. Check it out. Link down below. And by the way, there's a private Discord as well, pinned in the comments, or go to stoccerfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I'll see you all in the next video.